Hey guys, it's Jayla Taylor and today we will be making a simple bread using yeast. So what you're going to need is a large metal bowl, white all-purpose flour, olive oil, sea salt, lukewarm water, a mug, instant yeast, a tablespoon, a teaspoon, and a plastic spatula. So first you're going to take 2 cups of the flour and put it into the bowl. You're going to add a teaspoon of sea salt and then a half a teaspoon of yeast. Then you're going to add 1 cup of the lukewarm water, which is going to activate the yeast, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and then you're going to mix all of that together. Once it's all mixed, you're going to cover the top with cling wrap tightly to make sure no oxygen can get in. I made a second batch of the bread dough, not including the yeast this time in order to see the difference, and this is them before. You can see that the one with the yeast is already starting to look slightly. The dough is then going to have to ferment for about 12 hours in a warm environment, and we can see that this happened because they got bigger. So in the 12 hours that the dough is fermenting, the yeast is eating the sugar that is present in the flour and then going through the process called glycolysis. The product of glycolysis is pyruvate, and if there's no oxygen present like there was since with our mixture, because we added the cling wrap to the top of the dough, it will go through fermentation. The products of fermentation are ethanol, which is a type of alcohol, and CO2, and it's the CO2 which makes the bread rise because the CO2 is getting trapped in the dough and thus the dough becomes bigger. So once the 12 hours of fermentation are over, you're going to take olive oil and lightly line that on the bottom of a pan. Then you're going to take flour onto your workspace and just put a little bit of flour so that the dough won't stick on it. And then you're going to take the dough out of the bowl, and I started with the one without yeast. And you're going to scoop that out of the bowl onto your floured workspace. Then you're going to put some flour on the top and then fold it in on itself a couple of times, and then you're going to turn it over so the seams are on the bottom, and then you're going to round it into a ball shape. Then you're going to transfer it into the oiled pan. And I did that process again with the dough with the yeast. I then covered the tops of the pans with tea towels, and then you're going to have to let them rise for another 2 hours. And once they're done rising, you're going to set the oven to 395 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're going to put the bread in for about 40 minutes, and at the end of the time, you're going to have your homemade bread.